hello. This is Live with Michelle Van, where we're talking about health, wealth, and spirituality. And today we are here with Dr. Mary House. Woo! We're so excited to have her today. Y'all know, it is Women's History Month. And with Women's History Month, y'all know I have to bring my friends on. I have to bring the people that inspire me, that I know will inspire you. And so today we are here with Dr. Mary House. Welcome.
Thank you, Michelle, Dr. Michelle. It is always a pleasure to be with you, whether in person or virtually. I mean, I love your energy. I just love who you are. And the fact that we are celebrating women, I think is so important for women to see other women that look like them, that are successful in their areas, actually love each other, support each other, and have nothing but love for each other, right? And you are that girl for me, right? And so I just appreciate being here.
Yes. So let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about who you are. Let the world know, let my audience know who you are, what you do in the world. You know, they know I love you, but they don't know why I love you and why what you do.
Well, first of all, look, let me start with just to begin. Look, I'm just this girl who was raised in a very poor neighborhood with a mother who loved God and a father who did what he wanted to do. Let's just say that.
Baby.
But because of that, it gave me a well-balanced life as an adult. So it has evolved me into who I am. So yes, I'm the first lady of Mountaintop Faith Ministries, but my love is in the community. And so I am the CEO of CH&R Inc. And we started with, which stands for, let me stop, Caring, Helping, and Restoring Lives. And we started this, my husband and I founded this nonprofit back in 1996. So it's a 501c3 faith-based nonprofit organization. Started out doing transitional homes, went from there to me taking it over as CEO and getting grants for employment and training for the underserved and unemployed people. And over the course of years, we received over $11 million of funding, you know.
Come on.
Okay.
If everybody ain't doing it.
You know what? And it's so amazing that even and we'll probably talk a little bit more, but the first time out when I asked my husband to take it over, because we had a young lady who was over it and they relocated back east. Long and short, I said, give it to me for a year. If it's meant for me to have it and to, take it somewhere, then God will put his hand on it. If not, we're going to find somebody to run it.
Right.
The very first year I got it, the very first grant I went after, we got over $400,000 the first time out. Didn't know anything about what.
Come on now.
But you know what, Dr. Michelle, I think what women need to understand is God gave us this wonderful brain.
Yeah.
Which, if we put it into, I call it today's world, it's a computer. Your job is to load this computer up, and when you need that software, that program, you just go to that software and that program,
Dial it up.
you use it. So what I did is I just, I said, if you teach me, I can learn anything.
Right.
We all learn at different levels, and literally they taught us what to do. They gave us the manuals and end up being very successful at it with my staff, because I believe you put it up here, and God has always, when things came in front of me and they were trying to, people, they try to try you a little bit in your systems. Right. I would literally be in a meeting and God would show me what page it was on, what section it was on. And I was able to just say, according to the manual on this section, on this page, it says this, this, and this. So I am correct in what I'm doing. And they were like, you read? Yes, I did. Okay.
Yes, I read.
Yes, I read it. I read it all. I stayed up a lot of nights just reading. But doing that evolved into me getting into the world of clean energy for the disadvantaged, underserved communities of color. Again, another area I didn't even know existed. So I started getting funding from that and evolving into that. So now I am not just the CEO of CHR Inc., but I'm also the community liaison for Mountaintop Faith Ministries, which, I come with two hats on. And so whichever hat needs to be worn in whatever meeting, that's the hat that I would wear. But I enjoy this because when you have struggled and you've worked and you lived in communities where you saw it was a norm, everybody was on welfare. We all got government cheese and peanut butter and all that, but there was a lot of love in my home. There was a lot of God in my home, but most importantly, there was a lot of support. And I'm just an advocate for getting in that library and learning what you can learn and read the books you need to read and study what you need to study so you can have what you never had. But most importantly, so you can help people that were like you or, even lower.
Absolutely. That is amazing. We are talking to Dr. Mary House, and we will be right back. We are talking to Dr. Mary House, and she was talking about family as we ended up our first segment. You were sharing about family and how family was so important and how, raised in a family, a God-fearing family, a family that, and I think all of our families have two sides. All of our families have that church side, and then we got that side.
Yeah.
I think every family is like that. But you also have in your family some pretty famous people. And who might that be?
Well, my mother is the sister of Ederline DeBarge, which her children grew up and they have become very well known, the DeBarges. And so because my mother came from a family of 11. And again, we were raised to just love each other, support each other. So when my Aunt Ederline was having some struggles and some issues at home with her husband, she would come over to my mother's house with all of my cousins. And again, we just grew up together, There were like 8, let me just say how that was. We had one bedroom with 2 sets of bunk beds, right? And 2 kids in each bunk bed.
Because we're going to make you do it.
And Dr. Michelle, and we thought it was like the most amazing thing because kids don't know adult trauma.
Come on now.
When the adults don't put it in. So when we talk about family, my mother and my aunt, to be honest, we kind of knew it was something going on, but we didn't know really what was going on. Because as kids, we were just loving on each other, playing with each other. Naturally, we sung, we would sing, and do all the things kids did, play hopscotch, jump, jump rope. But we also defended each other.
Right.
So because also, my family are the DeBarges, people know they were biracial. I guess that's the proper word to say. And anyhow, that's another story, another day. When we would go over to visit them, we defended them because they were called some stuff in the poor white neighborhoods that was unacceptable. So we stood up for each other. So as a result, we all are very close because we were raised to be close and to love each other no matter what. And it's an amazing thing. So, who knew? I remember when I got married, I'll share a little, people, since we're just talking.
Yeah.
I got married. My cousin Al DeBarge. DeBarges had not come out as of yet. And so Al was walking around the wedding, telling everybody, y'all better, look out for us because, we about to be something, right?
Come on.
Everybody's like, yeah, right, whatever, whatever. How we do in church, whatever. So, because everybody in LA is going to be somebody, let's be clear.
Right.
And guess what?
They did. They did.
And first of all, they did, their music has been used over and over and over again by several artists and things like that. And it's just a blessing that God would put his hand on them. And they were the chosen to go into the world to let them know there's some Christian backing with this that you see out there. These gifts came from God himself, right?
Yeah.
They
So as you think about that, as you think about how that backing, that spiritual guidance, did you see yourself in this place? I mean, sometimes we grow up and we think about, oh, when I get married, I want to be did you
Mhm.
see yourself as being a pastor's wife?
Well, let me say no. That's not what I saw myself as being. I saw myself as being a successful Christian single woman, right?
Okay. Okay.
Who was going to take care of my mother because my father wasn't nice to my mother at times. And so I am a survivor, a childhood survivor of domestic violence. And so, with that being said, all I wanted to do when I grew up was to see my mother get things that my father never gave her, and
Mm,
to be able to take her places and let her see the world that I read about. I used to,
right.
again, the library was my friend in the ghetto. So I was the little black girl up in the library. Pretty much very few of us was up there
Right.
reading about places I would had never seen. I was, back then you had pen pals in those little teeny
In
magazines.
other
I
countries.
used to write women, little girls or young girls from all over the world because my daddy worked at the post office, so I could mail stuff free. He
Hmm.
took care of that for me. And I would just get letters back and we would just write. So what I dreamt was I was going to be a successful businesswoman who was going to take care of my mother in a way my father didn't. And unfortunately, my mother passed away before we really start moving up in life.
Right. Or you could get to that point of being
Yeah.
able to share with others. This is Live with Michelle Van. We are talking to Dr. Mary House, and we will be right back. Talking to Dr. Mary House, you ended kind of talking about the whole idea that there was domestic violence. Is that how, because I know that part of CHR, you really focus on domestic violence. Is that why you chose that path?
Absolutely. When we were doing employment and training, what I discovered was the women who were coming through my doors for employment were, as you dug a little deeper and they began to talk, you found out that they were survivors of domestic violence.
Mm.
What I've discovered, and this saddens me very much, is there more animal shelters than there are shelters for women to go to.
Oh, wow. I never thought about that, but that's true.
So, yeah, we're talking about women. This is Women's
Right.
History Month, right?
Right.
History. More dog shelters, animal shelters than there are for women. And that's why women go back into their relationships, because it does keep a roof over their head and it keeps some food on the table.
Right.
And so my mother used to say, because I'm the middle child, so I'm the little one that I was outspoken. I was the shortest one, but I was the one with all the mouth, right? And my little mouth would tell my mommy, why you staying with that little head, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's that guy?
Yeah.
My mother was gorgeous. She was a chocolate woman who was very intelligent, and I didn't understand. And my mother said to me, she said, Mary, first of all, kids stay in kids' business because that's what they told you back then.
That was the day.
Okay. And
Mind
she said,
business.
I knew what I married when I married him. And I
Mm.
promised God I would stay with him until he found Jesus.
Ooh, that's a commitment.
And she committed. And yeah, he did 30-some years later. But
Right.
she went through a lot. And for me to, I witnessed that. And then my oldest sister married a guy who I watched beat her while I would watch my nephew when he was a baby. I'd go over to their apartment and she would have me watch him. I was 10 years old. I'm watching my little nephew and my sister is being beat in the bedroom with her husband. And then, you know, when he got finished doing whatever he was doing after he beat her, then he'd go
Right.
out and she'd come sit by me and cry. I thought, oh no. No, that's why I said I saw myself single. I didn't see myself married. Then
Yeah.
my other sister above me, the same thing happened.
Right.
And I watched that and I came to the conclusion that we're these little cute little women, you know, girls who
Hmm.
get all grow up and they marry these abusive guys. Well, I
Right.
ain't gonna have it. I got three sisters
Right.
underneath me that ain't happening. And I literally broke the cycle.
Come on now.
And so what I do now is I love women to whatever they're going to do, whether you're going to stay or whether you're going to leave.
Hmm.
I'm going to love you and empower you to let you know, no matter what you're in relationship wise, you are a wonderful, awesome sister.
And we
That's
need more cycle breakers.
yes.
And so as you look at that cycle breaking, how do you help women? What are the maybe the steps that women could get if they're listening right now, if they're listening
Mhm.
today and they're saying, I hear you, that is me. How do I break out?
Okay. So this is part of my wisdom from the house brand.
Uh-huh.
First of all, you face it.
Mm.
You look at you face it head on. Stop lying to yourself.
Stop lying. Number
Stop,
one.
tell yourself the truth. Number one, face it. Number two, erase it. How do you erase it? You forgive and you move on. You say, you know what? This has been hindering me. It's been stagnating me from my next. I keep hitting a brick wall, but you have to forgive. And erasing it means forgiving it, not forgetting it, but forgiving it.
Yes.
Then you've got to replace it. That means you've got to replace it with the right information, with the right circle of friends, with the right attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the wisdom that I learned from it?
Yes.
And what did you learn from it so that now you can also, if you've got children, give them a different perspective of why you did what you did, but they don't repeat the cycle. So that breaks that cycle.
Right.
And then it breaks the cycle within you. If you don't have kids, it just breaks a cycle within you. So there's a pattern that you won't
Mm-hmm.
keep going over again and again. So
Mm-hmm.
you face it, you erase it, you replace it. And what was the wisdom that you learned from it?
Amazing. Amazing. Because I think that's what you just said is so true, is that because that is the model that we see, we
Mhm.
continue to follow in those cycles and we repeat them and we repeat them and we repeat them, and we can't figure out why our families are in these perpetual states of being and states of trauma when that's what we've seen, and we don't know how to get off the merry-go-round and truly
Right.
begin to start on a new trajectory. So I think that is so, so important. We are live. We are talking to Dr. Mary House, and this has been an amazing conversation. We will be right back. We are back. We have been talking to Dr. Mary House. We've been talking about how do we break those cycles? How do we set great examples? How do we have wisdom and use wisdom in our lives and in with our families? So if women are trying to figure out, because you're in Las Vegas,
Yes,
and a lot of people, will immediately say, oh, that's Sin City. There's sin everywhere.
absolutely.
It just happens to be a little more concentrated.
Well, no, it's illegal here. Oh,
Yeah, that's it. It's just legal. So how do you, in a situation like that, where there is, this perception that there's so many things happening, how do you deal with the women that are coming to you? How do you, how do you find them? Where are you getting those people from?
you know what, Michelle? They just come, they find me.
Mm,
Somehow, whether it's at church, whether it's in the community, because I'm in the community so much, they find me. And um, because of my belief and what I have in me,
mhm.
my spirit tells me sometimes I'm looking at a lady and I may not understand what I'm feeling. And
Right.
I'll just pull her aside and say, I literally, this is what I say. I see you.
Mm. And don't we want to be seen?
Oh my God. Do you understand? That's probably the biggest icebreaker when you can look a woman in the eye And you don't even have to tell her you know what you know, what you're feeling, because you don't
Right.
know until she actually tells you, but you can feel it. And you just tap her and you say, I see you.
My God.
The reaction that I get, priceless. And then I proceed to give her a hug.
Yeah.
And then, I just give her, I think it's Anita Phillips that wrote,
Yes. Yes. The
I
Garden.
love her book, right?
Yes.
And she calls it that, I think it's that 20-second hug.
Yeah.
Just don't hug her. Just don't hug her and let her go. Hug her for about 20 seconds.
Let those endorphins exchange.
Yes. And then you let her go. And I say, if you need me, here's my number.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And that alone for women, that's huge. That's huge. And Michelle, being real, there's some women who have bit me because of it, I believed in them more than what they believed in themselves.
Absolutely.
And as a result, it was mishandled. But you know what? I made a decision. I am not going to stop being who God has called me to be, to the community in which he puts me in, and to the environment in which he puts me in, and to the space that he puts me in, just because somebody hurts. It just comes with the territory. It lets me know I'm human. Hello. It lets me know I'm human.
Yeah, it's the casualties of ministry, but it allows you to know that when you and as you are yielded to God and yielded to the ministry and yielded to the plan and the experience that you're having with him, it will, yes, these people did me wrong, but there's more on the other side.
Oh, absolutely. I have a statement. You should never penalize present tense people for past hurts.
That's good. That good right there. That's some good. If you didn't get no more wisdom besides that, hear that right there. Because that's what I mean. Because even when you're talking about relationships and you're talking about how do you let it go, too often we are dragging all that baggage from what has been into what should be, and we're messing it up.
And Michelle, what happens is we call it a red flag. Somebody does something in present tense that somebody in the past did, but the past, it hurt you. And when we see it in the present, we say, oh, I see that coming. Without giving it the totality of what it should be. And so don't penalize, because you may miss someone God wants to use to bless you. And I'm not talking about always financially or whatever, but somebody's life just needs to bless you, just needs to bless you with gosh, like you said, there's a whole world of newness out there. People who want to celebrate you and not tolerate you. And when you tap into those people, you can mess up and miss that if you keep holding on and dragging that stuff,
Yeah, I mean, because some people are still porcupines.
Oh, yes.
And porcupines can be smooth, but then, they can raise their
yeah, when they spike, they can look at, they punch you in many areas.
Absolutely. And so if people were saying, oh my gosh, I absolutely love her. How do I connect with her? How do I, get into some of this? Because you are on social media, correct?
Yes. Okay. And you can go to maryhouseministries.org for my website, Mary House Ministries on Facebook, Mary House Ministries on Instagram, Mary House Ministries on Twitter, Mary House Ministries on TikTok, and then also on YouTube. I have videos that I've recorded on different subjects. I am going to be launching I'm going to call it my Wisdom Wednesdays. And we're going to be doing things every Wednesday. I'm going to probably start it in the third quarter of this year, because I'm trying to close out some things. But we're in the process of what topics we would talk about. And just like, a 15-minute, I'm going to get on and talk about something and do some Q&A. And and get off. And it is absolutely free. But I have workshops if you go to maryhouseministries.org. Right now, you can even go to mfmnv.org. We are doing our women's empowerment sessions, and we're talking about Hannah. And
Okay.
it has been amazing, and it's free. So it's our women's empowerment group every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And so if you're available, you can do that. We're going to be on board up until the end of May, and we're teaching on the Hannah's anointing, and it has been amazing already. Okay, we just got started.
Now, if people are in the Las Vegas area and they want to come and they're saying, oh my gosh, caring, helping, restoring is something that I believe that God has called me to do. And I haven't been able to figure out how to tap in. How do they get connected with CHR?
CHRinc.net is the website. And you can also, and then we're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So definitely, if you want to tap in, we have a newsletter you can tap into because of our upcoming events. And I promise you, even with what we're doing with CHR, with domestic violence and clean energy, it has been an amazing journey, and it's so fulfilling.
It has been so good talking to you. I know the time goes by so fast, but it is just amazing to be able to tap into women, to be able to share the wisdom. And as we come to a close, what is the one thing that you would leave ladies with today?
The one thing that I want every woman to do is, first of all, look in the mirror and say, I am fearfully and I'm wonderfully made. There's only one of me. And when God made me, he broke the mold. How awesome am I?
Come on now. This is Live with Michelle Van, where we talk about health, wealth, and spirituality. We have had a great time talking to Dr. Mary House. And as always, we're going to tell you that we love you and there is nothing that you can do about it. So just come on and ride on the train. I'm the evangelist of wellness, and it is my pleasure to make sure that we bring people in every week that will help you to be empowered, to be engaged, and to help you to move forward. We love you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.